How could I have been so wrong? Last week I told you that the student loan crisis, that our debt was at $1.3 trillion. Well, it appears I was off by $48 billion. So here's the current number right now today, 10:26 a.m., Monday the 9th, 2016. There it is. I can't even really read you that number, but that's where our student loan debt sits, right at 10 o'clock this morning. Okay, so is that depressing? Sure. You want to go look at it online? You can. It's called the Student Loan Clock, and it's available to you 24/7. This is what it says. Watch America's student loan debt grow, $2,726 every second. So if you're not depressed enough with your life, just go there, and that'll make you feel nice, right, looking at that. So I couldn't let this discussion about student loans end just yet. I had a lot of wonderful comments last week and got a lot of people talking. And so I thought I'd dig just a little bit deeper on this topic with something that I like to call the 3 Ds. The 3 Ds. These are bad Ds, by the way. But I just want to unpack them a little bit because there's confusion around them. So I didn't think I could be any more shocked with this topic of student loan debt, but I was truly shocked. This article is dated April 7th, last month, from the Wall Street Journal. The article is entitled, "More than 40% of student borrowers aren't making their payments." 40%. Just sit with that for a second. 40% cannot make their payments. Yikes. Here are the 3 Ds. The first D, delinquency. What is delinquency? So delinquency happens when you miss a single payment. One payment, one time. So we're in the middle of graduation season right now. So all the graduates that graduate this week, their loans will come due in exactly 6 months. So beginning November 1st, their first student loan payments will be due. Now, once November 2nd comes and they miss a payment, they're immediately delinquent. Okay, delinquent on day 1. So what does that mean? That means that day their credit report goes in the toilet. Now, I'm famous for having said that I don't care about my credit score and my FICO score. I don't care about it. I don't mind having a 0 FICO score. So having a 0 FICO score means I don't owe anybody anything, okay? But would I care about a between 300 and 600 credit score? Oh yes, I would care about that, because that's when horrible things start to happen. This is when your insurance premiums go up. This is when landlords won't rent to you. This is when employers won't hire you when they run your credit report. You do not want to go into delinquency and ruin your credit report, okay? You don't want to do that. That's the first D, trouble on day 1. And we're not sitting around waiting for our dream job at this point. We'll take any job not to miss a single minimum payment. Number 2D is default. So what is default? Default is when you've been delinquent for 270 days. That's a fancy way of saying 9 months. That's how they say it. So it looks like we've got 4 million student borrowers that are there right now, 4 million of them that are in default. So this is when horrible things start to happen, okay? Because remember, none of this can go into bankruptcy. This is protected by the federal government, okay? And so they are going to get their money. They're going to get it back because they can find you and you're going to pay it back in really ugly ways. So remember this, you can actually be denied you can be denied military service. They can just not let you in the military if you think that's your out. You're not going to be let in with this horrible thing hanging around your neck. You're going to be denied security clearance, both from private and public sector jobs. Now, wage garnishment is the big one that everybody thinks of. And yes, indeed, they can garnish your wages with a 30-day notice. That's all they have to do. Pop a letter in the mail once you hit that 9-month window, and they'll say, we're going to start taking we're going to garnish your wages in 1 month from today. They don't need to file a lawsuit or anything against you. They will take your federal tax refund every year. It's not yours anymore. Social Security will be garnished up to 15%. And this is particularly important for you parents who co-signed on some of these loans. Because when your child can't pay and you can't pay, you will pay with your Social Security. Now, God forbid something would happen to your child Do you know that children have died and the parents are still having to pay on these loans? This is an ugly industry, an ugly industry. Think long and hard around this co-signing issue. I personally am very opposed to it. And just so you know, if they can't get anything from your job, and they can't get anything from your taxes, and they can't get anything from Social Security, they'll just go ahead and sue you. Now, they're probably not going to get much with that lawsuit, but they can at least frighten you to death to give the little bit that you do have. There's nothing they can't touch. The last D is default, or deferment or forbearance. Deferment or forbearance. Now, this is the one that everybody thinks is like the holy grail, like this is the good D, right? This is not a good D. The only person that deferment is good for is the loan companies, because they're going to make a whole lot of money on you. So this is when you ask your servicer just to stop, just let me not pay for a period of time. Now, some people are going between 3 and 5 years. They're returning to these loans to see them exploded on them, because what's happening during the deferment time is that the interest is accruing and fees are accruing, and they are compounding on the interest, and they are going up $10,000 or $30,000. Sometimes the loans are doubling in this time period. Deferment is a terrible idea. It's not your friend. Okay, don't do it. We've got to know all the terms of our loans so that these 3 Ds do not happen to us. We need to know all the terms. We need to know the difference between these federal loans and these private student loans. Although the federal loans are capped at 4.75, these private loans are going all through the roof. They've been as high as 16 or 18% last year. We need to know the difference. We need to know the difference between a subsidized and an unsubsidized loans. If we have the unsubsidized loans, we need to be paying the interest as we go along through school, so that won't explode on us on the other end of graduation. We need to know the end price that we're going to pay for our education before we start. We need to know so that we don't let those numbers and percentages get out of whack, so that when graduation comes, we don't fall into default. All right? We need to do everything, not only to know that these Ds are not our friend, but that these servicers are not our friend, okay? You know, good old Sally Mae, the biggest servicer of these loans. She's now called Navient, if you missed that. That's her new name. She's changed her name, but she's up to her same old wicked ways. Just 2 years ago in 2014, she paid $200 million in fees for taking illegal money, collecting illegal fees from military service veterans and other borrowers. And they've been continued to be under investigation from the Department of Justice for the last 2 years, and they're bringing new charges against them right now for mistreating their borrowers and for basically not being able to provide, I love this, basic customer service to their more than 12 million, these 12 million borrowers. These are the kind of people that you do not want to be messing around with. They are no fun, right? We want to kick the old girl out and get our life back. And so we are going to prepare to get these people out of our life, right, as quickly as possible. See you 3Ds. See you, Sally.